Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to an Instagram live. I did have a bit of trouble getting on there. I'm not gonna lie, it was all a bit dodge there. I'm running in. I'm on the cuff today, as you can see. Housework everywhere. Hopefully we've got loads of people here. One I can see now. Be very special. And I'm here to answer your questions. Now we have a nightmare on here every week, so I'm hoping that we're going to get loads of questions flowing through. So yes, Midwife Louise, I am running out the door after here. So no, we've got a comment. I can see a comment, so that's always a really good start. What have I got to tell you? I started with that every week, don't I? What have I got to tell you? What have I got to tell you? My tongue's better. That's good. I've been inquiring about the whole tongue tie thing because I know so many of you guys out there have had difficulties getting tongue ties divided, and I have to say it's not good news. It is not good news. I've been looking into doing the training myself so that I could at least try and help a little bit with tongue tie, or at least do some in my neck of the woods. 3 years. 3 years to do the training, which is outrageous. So I'm going to keep trying to plug in, trying to see if we can get something a bit better than that. So we'll see. I'll keep posted on that. I have really bad restless legs since being about 20 weeks. I'm 23 plus 2 and they're not getting any better. They are worse at night. They always are. But also if I sit down on the floor, then get up, they feel dead. Any tips would be great. Do you know what? Don't actually have a huge amount of tips for you. There is not a huge amount that can be done about it. You may want to whoever said that question, ping me a question about it and I'll speak to our physiotherapist, see if she's got any tricks up her sleeve. You could try pregnancy yoga. You might find that doing those moves really just sort of gets the blood supply moving to those areas. So that would be my top tip, would be some pregnancy yogas. But I'm going to take a note and I'm going to do a post on that on the Instagram. See if we can't find out a bit more. But yeah, I don't have anything right up my sleeve right at this minute. But watch this space. I'm currently at the start of my second trimester. My husband and I have been wanting a baby for a long time. I can always picture things in life, but why can I not actually picture having my baby? My anxiety has been a bit up and down lately with thinking about risks of birth and things like that, but I still can't picture my baby. Does this mean anything? Is it my hormones? This is my first pregnancy. It's such a good question. And the first thing I would say is don't worry. It's really, it's like if someone told me that I was going to, I don't know, the Galapagos Islands, some far-flung land. The only thing that springs into my mind is a turtle. That's the only thing. Whenever anybody says anything about the Galapagos Islands, I just picture a turtle. I don't picture it in its environment. I think somewhere in my mind, I think there's a lot of turtles there. I don't know anything about the Galapagos Islands, but when I hear that, that's what I think. And sometimes it's really hard to picture the unknown. So what I would say to you is imagine, you see like location, like that program, and you've got a couple and they've got zero vision. And they walk into a house and they're like, I just can't see it. I can't see it. And the other one's going, yeah, you can knock this wall down, you can knock that wall down. Just because they can't see it doesn't mean that it isn't there. It doesn't mean that this house won't be beautiful and your baby won't be beautiful. You've just got no frame of reference. You've never had a baby before and you just can't imagine one in your life. Doesn't mean to say that you're still not going to get that baby and feel like, oh my God, best thing ever. It might be that this baby arrives and you're like, still don't get you, still don't connect. It will come. Like you said, you've wanted this baby. It's not being sprung on you. So you will get there. You will. And a lot of this is self-preservation. So like you're saying, you've pictured some bad outcomes. So there's something subconsciously like, right, let's not think about it. Let's not think about the good outcome because we just want to disconnect from it. So that if anything goes wrong, we're all good. So it's all self-preservation. There's a whole tsunami of emotions behind there, I am sure. Bethany has got a 9-month-old that's teething. Commiserations. And I'm really struggling with her sleep, and also her bottom is all red. Help. So the bottom is really common. So when your babies are, I think I lifted, don't know what that means. When your babies are teething, they often do get really, really sore, nappy rash, really bad, and their poos are pungent. Like they smell like It's like a fruity sweet. It's really distinctive. But it's the acid in there that's really hurting their bottom. So get a treatment cream like the Panther or something like that to really help with their bottom. Keep nappies changed really frequently. And make sure that you're giving them Calpol, as long as you've not been told by a GP not to, giving them pain relief. If you had toothache, you'd have some pain relief. So definitely give them some of that and keep on top of it. Especially if it's like their first or their big teeth. It's really hurt. Debbie, I don't know what you mean by I think I lifted. Anyway. I'm 9 weeks pregnant today, and I think I lifted something too heavy this morning and carried it up the stairs. Since then, I've been feeling some discomfort in the lower abdomen. Is this something to be concerned about? How many weeks pregnant are you, Debbie? It's really difficult to tell. Likely that you've just pulled a muscle or something. Just if you are sort of in that stage where you can feel baby's movements, then just keep an eye on that. If you're a bit earlier on, I'd just keep an eye on seeing, but there's not really much that you can do. Just rest. You've probably just overdone it. Stop lifting things. I'm 9 weeks pregnant today and my morning sickness has gotten worse. I'm not actually vomiting, just nauseous. I had a miscarriage a few months ago, so every little pain or sickness makes me worry and anxious. I'm just wanting some reassurance. I know many people are constantly vomiting throughout their whole pregnancy, so this is probably nothing, but I'm just making my nerves go. The pain is nothing like when I had a... So vomiting is actually, nausea is actually good. I know he doesn't feel it, but it's actually a sign of your pregnancy hormones and your body's just like, well, what's going on here? It makes me feel a bit dodgy. So actually some level of nausea and sickness is not a bad thing. If it starts to become debilitating, like you said, some people have it all the way through and it's hideous, then you need to speak to your GP. But I'm not feeling worried about you. At 9 weeks pregnant, you're feeling how I'd expect you to feel. Stacey is 23 weeks pregnant and has constant heartburn. I've tried everything and it keeps getting worse at night. I can't sleep. So what's happening is all your hormones and your growing abdomen are pushing up and relaxing things inside, so you're getting a bit of acid reflux. Try lying sort of a bit more propped up if you can sleep that way, because that will help keep things down. Peppermint tea might help. You can go to your doctor and get some medication if it's really bad and debilitating. So maybe think about going to see your GP. Horrible. I suffered with it really badly. Rennies. I always had Rennies. Don't know that you can have those now, but I think you can have Gaviscon. Equally disgusting. When do babies develop their eye colour? My little girl is 7 weeks and they are still a dark grey. My partner's eye are brown and mine are blue. I'm really excited to see what colour eyes you get. Not for a while yet. I think it's much nearer the year mark, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, a bit earlier. Can you request an induction? My husband is military and our family live 5 hours away. I was active labour with my son and it's stressing me out how it will all fit into place as we have no one to have our son close by. I'm also considering a home birth but lost 700 ml of blood and my son needed oxygen, so that's worrying me. Sorry for a long question. No, that's fine, Marie. I think in terms of induction, it's not a route I would probably go down, isn't requesting an induction. You can ask them, but you are better off trying to wait for it to go naturally. When you say you're active labour, I'm not quite 100% sure what you mean by that, whether you mean it was a quick labour or anything like that. With a 700 ml is not excessive, but if you live a long way away from the hospital and you had that, I probably wouldn't go with a home birth either. I mean, 700 ml is just above what we would class as being normal. Generally, anything under 500 ml is what we class as, normal blood loss. But again, I wouldn't like to be the one to say have it at home. And I'm not really sure how... Yeah, I'm not sure that necessarily an induction is going to give you any more certainty, because just because they say yes, you can be induced, because you're doing it because of maternal request, you could be bumped from the list. You're not necessarily guaranteed the day. You don't know how long it's going to take. How long it's going to take you to have your baby. My hair's gone a bit bonkers now. So I'm not sure that's going to help you too much. I don't feel I'm helping you because it's really hard to interact with you here. Can I request it? Yeah. Is there nobody who can come and stay with you at the time? That would be what I would be thinking of, is bringing, I know they're 5 hours away, but bring somebody to you. That would be my thoughts, really, possibly. It's not easy, is it? But yeah, I would just try and think about all the different options of having somebody to look after your son. Debbie said movements are fine after her lifting something heavy and keeping an eye on things. Morning sickness is still horrendous too, so I can definitely relate. Oh, that's not nice at 21 weeks. Stop lifting things and just chill. Lovely. Get someone else to lift them. Really suffering with SPD, currently 23 weeks. Any suggestions? My suggestion, Katie, is sign up to our pelvic girdle pain workshop. That is run with Michelle, who's our specialist women's physiotherapist. You can sign up there at letstalkbirthandbaby.co.uk. I'm sure if Laura's watching, she'll put that in the link. If you sign up there, that is a workshop that is purely on pelvic girdle pain. I think the next one's about the 23rd of May. It's a Sunday, and it's a really good session. It gets really good feedback, and at 23 weeks, I would say it was definitely worth it for you to do it. So Marie, going back to Marie, she was in active labour for 4 hours. So you had a quick delivery last time. I think what I would do, Marie, is I would go back to them and ask them to look at your notes, look at what happened with your baby, because your baby needing oxygen isn't a uncommon thing. A lot of babies need a whiff of oxygen, and they do carry it with them at home births. So I think I would go back to your midwife and ask her what they think given your circumstances, but you wouldn't be able to have an induction and then go home, so it would be one or the other. Yeah, so someone's just put a link up there for Let's Talk Birth and Baby online antenatal. If you click on the maternal wellness, postnatal, antenatal and postnatal wellness, there is a click on there that is for the pelvic girdle workshop. We also have a postnatal recovery workshop this weekend on Saturday, which is also with Nikki, who's a physiotherapist. And that is all about looking after you guys, getting your bodies strong again. So it's not a diet, it's not an exercise program, it's an advice so that you understand what's happened to your body. It's a really, really great session. And actually, there's not a lot of people booked on it. In fact, there's only a couple booked on it at the minute. So you're pretty much going to have a really private session with a physiotherapist. So I would definitely look on that. Where did we get to? I've got a stinking cold that's gone to my chest. Can I take anything to help? If it's gone to your chest and you think you've got an infection, I would go to your doctors. But other than that, you're just on paracetamol, I'm afraid, my lovely, with a cold. Miserable. Miserable. Lots of fluids. Sorry, it's really annoying that people keep jangling their necklaces. I've had 3 sections. If I wanted a 4th baby, could I request a natural birth if I want? You could request. You can always request anything. They're probably going to advise you not to do it. But you can request and see what they might look back at your notes and see what the scar tissue was like on the previous 2 that you've had. But they're probably going to say it's probably not the best idea. But you can request, Josie. It might be a silly question, but how can I tell if my waters are broken? Is it very obvious, or can it be missed if I'm going to the toilet? I'm 35 weeks pregnant, and last night I went to the toilet and there was a loud plop sound. So, all right, sorry for the explanation, but when I checked the toilet, it was only urine in there. I'm having slight period type pain and baby is very active. I haven't had a nice pregnancy. Do you know what? I think with that history, I would get checked just to make sure, because it is easy for things to be missed. So I would just touch base with your maternity unit and just put a pad in and lie down for 20 minutes. If you get up and there's wetness on the pad, there is a possibility that your waters might have broken. If there's nothing, it's likely that they haven't, but I would still touch base because you're still only 35 weeks, so I would have a check. So Brian is saying, yes, you can. There is UK VBAC support group on Facebook. They will just keep a closer eye on you. Yeah, they will keep a closer eye on you, but they may also say that it's probably not advisable after 3 sections. So, but it's, it is entirely up to you, but it's just so that you understand the benefits against the risks. What did Katie say then? What was Katie's question? I can't remember now. Yes, definitely have a look at that workshop. My mother said she could come, but obviously with me only being 4 hours active labour, I'm worried baby will be here before my mother. I was wondering with induction because my mum would be able to come with. I think it's worth having the conversation with them. I don't think they're going to say point blank no, but I think what they're going to say is that it's more of a social reason for doing it. So you may end up putting yourself physically through something that you don't necessarily need to do. So obviously with an induction, we're trying to get your body to do something. We're trying to get your body to do something that it wasn't naturally ready to do in the first place. So you may find that you have a tougher labour and it'll take longer. So I think it's that balancing act. It's difficult as I'm too independent. I'm also a single mum to a 10-year-old too, so there's just me. Oh, bless you. However, now uni's over and I've been put on easy duties at work, I can start. You take it more easy. It isn't easy. It's not. I mean, when you've got, I know when I had my son and I was pregnant again, it's like I was like a bloody weeble all over the place trying to lift stuff, and so you just got to do the best that you can, my lovely. Well, that was a flurry of questions that you kept me busy with. Anybody else got any more questions? What else have I got to tell you that's coming up? Anything else coming up? I don't think so. It's all a bit boring here at the minute. I'm trying to lose some weight. That's fun. And I think that's about it. There you go. So next live will be on Instagram. Oh, there you go. Katie said she's been advised to have the daily injections for 28 weeks for blood clotting due to mum having a blood clot over 30 years ago due to the pill. I really don't want these. Is there an alternative to the injections, or maybe no risks and seek needed help? Also, got the placenta scan next week as measuring on the 7 centile. Should I be worried? Where am I at here? I'm struggling to remember who's who here. Right, Katie, what was your original question? So you're suffering with SPD. Okay. I mean, your mum having a blood clot over 30 years ago. Why did she? Well, I think I would be asking, why did she have the blood clot? Was it pregnancy related? What was the reason for that blood clot? Because it could be that she'd had, could be various reasons that have got nothing to do with sort of a hereditary thing. The problem is with blood clots, if you do have one and, it throws and becomes a PE, a pulmonary embolism, I can never say that, it's not great, but your risk is probably minimal. If you're a no smoker, you're low in weight, you've got no other risk factors. So I think I would just go back to your consultant that's advising this and just say, look, can we just have a bit of an exploration around, is this really necessary? Or is it she was on the combined pill and all those years ago it was known to cause clots? Yeah, I mean, I think I would probably push back and say, is this absolutely necessary? It's not for me to say it's not necessary, because I don't know your clinical picture and that would not be right for me to advise that. But I think it is good for you to go back and just say, look, I'm thinking about these injections thing and I'm not 100% sure. Do I really need to do these? She was on a medication for this, but they may turn around and say, well, actually, it's not just because of that, it's because of this. I don't know, but I think I would probably push back. When should you start using a birthing ball? I think once you're on sort of like 24, 25 weeks, birthing balls are great. I don't really see a major issue with using them right the way through from sort of 15, 16 weeks. I think they're a great way to keep your hips moving and get some movement. They're great for during labour and stuff. So I think anytime you want, really. Once you pass sort of 12, 13 weeks, it's fine. They have said because of my age and high risk of preeclampsia, and I have the injection, I have to have the injections at 28 weeks and I'm currently having to take aspirin. Okay, so you've got other risk factors other than that. So I think then that's your personal choice as to whether you take them. I think a high risk of preeclampsia and you're already on aspirin, I would probably follow the advice, would be my take on it. Really hard. And I think when you are on your own, you've got nobody to sound these things off or get off with, have you? So yeah, at the end of the day, that we, that's why we pay these people that have got brainy brains to advise us, really. So your placenta scan, my love, will just be like a normal scan. Won't feel any different, and they will just. So you're looking because of the baby is on the 7th centile. Is that right? What they're going to be looking at is the placental function. So they'll do what we call Dopplers, and what that does is it looks at the transportation of blood to and from baby. And so it is looking at how well that is functioning. It's a bit like doing an MOT on a car, basically. They're just going to do it by scan, but they'll be able to measure what's going backwards and forwards. And from that, they'll be able to work out whether your baby is a small baby, because it's naturally a small baby. You know, it might be that you're 5'1", your husband's 5'3", you're tiny, you're petite, you're just having a small baby. It might be that your baby is a small baby because the engine's not running quite as well as we want it to do. So it's making that differentiation between the two. What they will then do is they will then work out a plan of care from there. So it's not like, oh, right, okay, this, you know, it's not like, you know, I suppose like when you look at a car, like my son's car, I'm like, it's a bloody good car, that's going to see him all around town. Can you go from here to Scotland in it? I wouldn't do that. But so they might be like, do you know what, you're all right, you're pootling around the block a few times, that's fine, we're just going to keep an eye on you, because there might come a point where we think, actually, let's let this car have a rest. So it's that sort of thing. So they're just going to be looking at what the function is. Michaela is really scared about the COVID vaccine, but have a child with additional needs to want to do the right thing by my family. Any reassurance would help. Michaela, what I would say is go onto the Instagram, my Instagram, The Honest Midwife, and look on the IGTV. I did a Instagram live last week with an obstetric consultant obstetrician, and it was all about the vaccine. So lots of people asked lots of questions. It's a very balanced thing. It wasn't saying you should have it. It was talking about situations just like this, basically, where people are like, just don't know what to do. So it was a really good discussion. So I would have a look on there, really, because I think it's best part of 40 minutes long and loads of questions. So I would go and have a watch of that. I'm 15 weeks pregnant and have small itchy spots on my legs and just feel really itchy all over. Should I consult my midwife, or is this not pregnancy related? Charlotte, it could be a condition called PUP, P-U-P-P, which is a skin condition in pregnancy. It can be really uncomfortable, but itching in pregnancy, oh, brilliant, thank you. Someone's just put the link up there. Thanks, Laura. Itching in pregnancy can be a sign of a condition called obstetric cholestasis, which is a liver complaint. So, and it can get, excuse me, it can get worse on hands and feet and worse at night. So if you are itching, I would touch base with your midwife just to get your bloods checked. But in terms of that, I think it sounds a bit more like a pregnancy-related itching, which is not anything major to worry about. But again, have a look at the Honest Midwife Instagram, and there is a post on there somewhere about itching in pregnancy. I was breastfeeding and my milk ran out and can I get it back? It's only been about 2 weeks. The key to that, I mean, if your baby is only 2 weeks old, yes, but you need to put your baby to the breast all the time it wants feeding, and if you can, avoiding formula, because formula is going to impact that building up that milk supply. So yeah, it is possible, but you're going to need some support to do it. Do you know if water births are still available? Does it depend on the hospital? Hopefully, Kirsty, they're starting to get more and more available, but it is going to depend on what's going on in your unit. So I would ask around there. Is there another link? As I'm only on Facebook, and unfortunately, Debbie, there isn't. I don't have. It's not on. I think it is only through Instagram. That's where it's saved. Unfortunately, it was done on Instagram. I don't think you can translate it onto Facebook. I don't think. I'll find out. I'll try, but I think it is only on Instagram. Just go onto Instagram and just follow me, then you'll be fine. She's 3 months old. I think. Well, I mean, I think it's working out whether there's a reason why you feel your milk has run out. Quite often our bodies just regulate, and so we don't feel like there's a lot of milk there. Whereas actually, if your baby is still growing and putting weight on and giving you wet and dirty nappies, it probably is still there. But if you started to give formula, then it will diminish. So if you just keep going with the breastfeeding and monitoring her weight to see if she's losing weight, then you will know whether there's an issue with the milk. I'm 19 weeks pregnant and I only felt baby move once and he's only on my right hand side. That is really normal. At 19 weeks, I wouldn't necessarily expect anything major at this point. By the time we start to get to 23, 24 weeks, they should be far more definite and more frequent. There you go. Right. that is it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you all again soon. You know where to find me. I'm always on Instagram, Debbie. I do some really cool stuff on there, so I would join and have a look at the Instagram. And I shall see you all again soon. If you do join Debbie, it's at The Honest Midwife, and obviously your baby club, but you can find me at The Honest Midwife on Instagram. You're all fab as always. I hope you've enjoyed it. And oh, one last question just snuck in. Oh, and another one. So Paris, I don't know what your question was, but I'm almost 8 weeks pregnant. I have no symptoms of morning sickness. If it wasn't for a missed period and a positive test, I wouldn't know I was pregnant. I've seen people saying no morning sickness is a bad sign. I was very nervous in my last. It's not necessarily a bad sign. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything is amiss. Some people sail through and they don't have any issues at all. Some people have morning sickness. It's just a watch and wait, unfortunately. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much at the moment. I'm just trying to find Paris's question, which I can't, but let's just have a look. I'm 11 weeks pregnant. And when I got to 9.5 week point, I lost all symptoms of my pregnancy. I didn't have many to start with, but is this normal for symptoms to disappear? It can be. It can be a sign that things are not continuing. It is really difficult to say, but a lot of people, like I've just said, they sail through and they don't have any issues. So it's only really going to be that scan that's going to tell you definitively what's going on, unfortunately. I'm sorry, I can't be more reassuring. So yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that things are not as they should be. My son is 4 weeks old and has a lump under his nipple. You need to get that checked out, Paris. I can't assess from this point. I can't say that that's normal. It's not something I hear all the time. So I would definitely go back to the GP and just say, can they have a little look at it? Has a lump under his left nipple. I'm assuming that it is nipple. That's absolutely fine. I can understand. But yes, I would get that checked out, my lovely. Right, that is me done. I'm going to have to go because I've got something else coming up. So I will see you all again soon. You are all ace as always, and take care. Have a good week.